So, reducing the adverse events related to unsafe care has been our motive throughout our session. With the advancement of technologies, the application of artificial intelligence has tremendous potential as a tool for improving safety both inside and outside of the hospital by providing solutions to predict harms, collect a variety of data including both new and already available data. And as a part of quality improvement initiatives, for instance, AI can provide early intervention strategies. With expertise in the field, we have Mr. Daniel D. Shrestha as our next speaker for the topic Use of AI and Digital Data in Patient Safety. Mr. Daniel D. Shrestha is a management generalist with 12 years of experience in fintech, health tech, cross-border remittances, payments, and distribution business in Nepal. He is currently leading Cogent Health, a health tech startup specializing in the development and rollout of an integral electronic health record system as a managing director. And he is also involved with eSeva Money Transfer, a cross-border digital first remittance company, as a member of the board. So I request Mr. Daniel D. Shrestha on the stage.
Hello, good evening and namaste to all the audience out here. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers, Karuna Hospital Health at Home, for conceptualizing this conference and inviting me to speak on digital health and patient safety. It is a patient safety conference, and I am one of the few non-medical professionals probably in this conference to be speaking on digital health and patient safety. And since this is a patient safety conference, and when I was coming early morning to this event, after being a part of Christmas celebrations after probably 2 years that went really deep into the night, I was feeling very safe to be here presenting among the doctors, nurses, physicians. So yeah, thank you to the organizers for inviting me once again. Just to put the context to what I'm going to talk about this evening on digital health and patient safety, I would just like to start off with a story. And this is not a true story actually, but just putting a context to the relations between digital health, digital data, and patient safety. So the story begins here. So he is Dr. Trad. The name I have given to this person that you can see in the screen is Dr. Trad. So Dr. Trad, he uses a paper-based medical record system in his practice, in his hospital, or in his clinic, whatever you may call it. So Dr. Trad has just given consultation to one of his patients in his clinic or in his hospital, and Dr. Trad has prescribed a medication to his patient which is not really understandable. There's a problem of legibility here. So the pharmacy of this hospital or clinic also uses a paper-based system, which results in long queues in the dispensary section. There are no any label printers, and there's very minimal information about the medicine dosage to the patients. And to add to that, again, the legibility issue or the unclarity of the prescriptions written by the doctor is a problem for even the person in the staff sitting at the pharmacy. So the patient is confused. What should I do with the medicine? It's a nasal drop, and he happens to mistakenly put it into his eyes, and he has a problem, right? So on the contrary to this, here is another doctor. I have given this doctor a name, is Dr. Digital. So what he does is he uses his electronic medical record system in his hospital or in his practice. So where he can use a system called computerized physician order entry system, in which he can just, instead of writing on a paper, the prescribing medicines in the paper, he can just specify the route of the medicine. He can also specify the dose, the frequency, the quantity clearly on the system. So what this does is, this makes it very, very easy for the person sitting at the pharmacy to clearly read out the instruction, the order given by the doctor in the pharmacy store. So he can get the e-prescription of the patient ordered by the doctor, and the pharmacy also has a label printer in the pharmacy, through which the patient can actually have a look at the clear instruction of the dose, the frequency of the medicine. So this is exactly what the pharmacy personnel can see clearly in his or her computer or the desktop station at the store. So with this EMR-based system, there is the clear instruction that can be printed on the medicine, through which any kinds of errors that may occur while consuming the drug can be mitigated. So just a snapshot of that. So this is what you call a computerized physician order entry system. This refers to a process in which the providers, the clinicians, the doctors can send the treatment instructions, including medication, including the laboratory test, or radiology orders with a computer application rather than via a paper or telephone or a fax. So the Dr. Digital also has a decision support system in his disposal. So the Dr. Digital has at his disposal a clinical decision support system, which makes him able to make his clinical decisions well. So he's seeing a patient who is pregnant and is about to prescribe spironolactone to this patient. And what this decision support system prompts is an alert which says, this particular medication has some, adverse drug event that can occur, or there's some drug interactions or any allergies, that should be taken care of before actually prescribing this medicine to the patient. So this is called clinical decision support system. It's simply a rule that can be set up in the doctor's practice, which can actually remind the doctors, give an alert to the doctor whether to prescribe go ahead and prescribe that medicine to the patient. It's just like the buzzer that we are using in this conference that alerts the speakers. Maybe it's time to wrap up the presentation, or cut the presentation short. So technology can help in these small ways in which it can help the doctors, the physicians, to actually decide better. So this is just a couple of examples that I was just giving, in which there are some advantages to be had if we can go from traditional paper-based medical record system to a digital health system. So why digital health? Why to move from a paper-based traditional medical record system to digital health? Here are some facts. So the stories that I gave were just the scenarios to put the context, but here are some facts. So more than 60% of the medication errors that occur in the hospitals were attributed to poor handwriting. So there is a legibility issue, clearly, which we're still having to face, and this is very much preventable. So a computerized physician order entry system, or an EMR or an EHR, can actually reduce medication error by as high as 60%. So this is preventable. And at the same time, managing medications through an EHR improves patients' outcomes over time. In fact, EHRs reduce adverse drug events by 52%. So this is also one insight that we can actually take note of and implement in favor of using digital health technologies in our services. Here's another fact. The 60% decrease in near-miss medication events can also be attributed to the use of, to the adoption of digital health technologies in our practice. And so 3.5% decrease in length of hospital stay can also be possible if we can use the EMR or EHR systems in our hospitals. So we were discussing a lot, there was a session prior to the earlier session in which Dr. Upasana, I guess, and Dr. Diptesh were talking about the use of, technology platforms in which we can actually reduce these kinds of medication errors, transcription errors, or errors that can cause, serious potential patient harm. So why not, act now? Why not, use any kind of, electronic medical record system in our practice? So besides the patient safety issues, patient safety benefits that we can have from digital health intervention, there are a host of other benefits that we can have besides patient safety. So one of them is like universal coverage. There is in country like Nepal still affordable availability of healthcare services is still is an issue. So in those countries where there has been a widespread coverage, widespread universal health coverage, we can see that there has been a good use of digital health systems in these countries. So for countries like Nepal, we need to have that digital health system, we need to have that digital repository, we need to have that interface that can help us to actually spread the universal health coverage, the insurance, and all these kinds of things in our country. So digital health technologies can also help in improved diagnostics and patient outcomes, since we can have accurate and timely data. We can reduce the turnaround times at the laboratory, at the pharmacy, radiology, etc. And there is also a greater sense of data transparency. Through the use of digital health systems where you can actually share the data among the other clinicians, other physicians in the care, that can actually sort of augment or improve the care coordination, and at the same time also reduce medical expenses, because once there is some test that patients have undergone, there is no need of repeating the tests over and over again. So that helps the patients to actually cut down their cost of healthcare expenditure. And last but not the least, there is also the benefit of better governance. In one of our earlier sessions, we were discussing about the lack of reporting, the lack of available data to make policy decisions in healthcare, like for example, replenishing the stock of drugs at different hospitals, different district hospitals, government hospitals, at the policy level, at the central level, at the government. So one of the reasons why we are lacking behind is that we don't have that digital database, we don't have the digital technologies at also in the provincial level or the government level. So these are the overall benefits I think that we can have if we can adopt these any kind of digital health systems like EMRs, EHRs, or telehealth. So you name it. So the current to future. So right now, I think we are, as a healthcare industry, it's sad to say that we are lagging behind in embracing information and communication technologies in healthcare. So we can see that different other industries like payment systems, like financial systems, have gone ahead and embraced the communication technology, information technology, and actually catapulted the industry to greater heights. But I think healthcare system is very far behind in adopting the technology solutions in terms of information. So in the future, there is a lot of things that we can do. We can have shared health record, we can have exchange of electronic data from among, not just within the departments of a hospital, but across hospitals, and also across different other cross-cutting systems like payments, like insurance, which can actually add value in terms of patient outcomes, in terms of better clinical decision making. We also have AI, machine learning, that has been going very well in the other developed countries, where there is a lot of help that healthcare industry can take in terms of screening the patients, and in terms of improved diagnostics, So, you know, the future is like, is very much there for the taking for a country like us, which will ultimately help in clinical decision making, in patient safety. So this is something that we can achieve, in which there is electronic transfer of, you know, data, electronic transfer of patient history, patient medications, clinical diagnosis from one hospital to another, leading to quality healthcare service. So what needs to be done for that is, it's simple. There's not much that I would like to shed on, like what the policy level things that need to be done, what the government has to do, but what us as providers, what us as physicians, doctors, clinicians can do is simply, you know, adopt any basic EMR or EHR system in our practice, in our hospitals. So this can actually help us move forward in making sure, you know, from a paper-based system, we can go to less paper and then maybe paperless in some foreseeable future. So if we can do that, it's going to be one small step towards the adoption of digital health system, EMR system, but one giant leap for digital health. So with that, I would like to, you know, wrap up my presentation. Thank you very much, gentlemen, ladies.
Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel, for your amazing presentation.